Have you ever wondered why your ex deliberately avoids you? Even refuses to talk to you just once? Have all the doors been closed? Or is there still a chance for you to turn things around? Facing an avoidant ex is truly not easy. Every time you try to get close, they seem to want to move away, leaving you in a whirlwind of emotions. But don't be discouraged. Things are not always hopeless. The truth is, even with an avoidant ex, you can still break through the seemingly impenetrable barrier. Sometimes, just a small but correct action can awaken their emotions, making them unable to stop thinking about you. In this article, we will reveal the secrets to help you get a second chance. But this time you are the one in control. Want to know how to break this barrier and reconnect with your ex? Keep reading to discover practical strategies to help you do just that. And this time, you'll be the one in the driver's seat. Don't miss out on this extremely important information. Subscribe today to receive exclusive tips to help you change the game. We need to understand that avoidance is not just a behavior, but an attachment style, one of the 4 main attachment styles that influence how people interact and connect with each other. These attachment styles, secure, disorganized, anxious, and avoidant, appear not only in romantic relationships but also in family, friendships, and social interactions in general. They are formed from childhood, through how we experience care and affection from loved ones, and they follow us into adulthood. If you're trying to understand your ex, who has an avoidant tendency, imagine this attachment style as a sophisticated defense mechanism. People with avoidant attachment often feel uncomfortable or anxious when someone tries to get close to them emotionally. They may avoid deep conversations, refuse to express their true feelings, or withdraw when the relationship becomes too serious. This is not because they don't care, but because they are afraid of getting hurt or losing their personal freedom. On the other hand, if you feel yourself being pulled into an emotional whirlwind in this relationship, you are likely to have an anxious attachment style. This is a common combination in relationships and is the cause of many breakups. People with anxious attachment crave closeness and commitment, but this makes the avoidant person feel overwhelmed or pressured. Importantly, attachment styles determine how both of you react in moments of connection or disconnection in the relationship. Moments of connection, such as the first time saying I love you or when you share a deep memory, can be wonderful experiences for the anxious person, but are moments that make the avoidant person feel insecure. Similarly, moments of disconnection, such as arguments, an unanswered text message, or a forgotten promise, can cause both to react in ways characteristic of their attachment style. The anxious person may try to cling more, while the avoidant person will want to withdraw further. But why can a positive thing, like a loving word, also make the avoidant person feel unstable? It is because they tend to view strong emotions, whether positive or negative, as a threat to personal stability. They fear that deep attachment will lead to hurt or dependence, so they unconsciously create distance to protect themselves. Understanding this, you can realize that dealing with an avoidant ex is not easy, but it is not impossible. The key lies in being aware of the motivations behind their behavior and adjusting your reactions. Remember, you can't force someone to change, but you can change the way you interact with them to create stability and security in the relationship. When an ex leaves, feelings of emptiness, confusion, or a desire to hold on are inevitable. However, chasing after them in a panic often only increases the distance between the two of you. Instead, it's important to look at this situation with calmness and self-control. understanding that the relationship is not the only source of happiness in your life. First, remember that chasing after your ex is not only ineffective, but it can also erode your value in their eyes. One of the triggers for people with an avoidant attachment style is the feeling of being closely followed or pressured to respond to someone else's emotions. So, the best thing you can do is respect their decision, and let them go. This is not only an act of maturity, but also the only way for both of you to truly understand the value of the past relationship. Understand that sometimes people need time without you to discover themselves and experience new things. This does not mean that they have completely forgotten you or no longer love you, but simply that they need space to reassess their feelings, needs, and expectations in their lives. Keeping them while they are yearning for freedom only adds pressure and creates unnecessary hurt for both of you. During this phase, the most important thing is to not contact or bother them, no matter how much your heart urges you. Remember that trying to hold on or reach out will only make them feel controlled or lose the freedom they are seeking. Instead, focus on yourself. This is the time for you to return to your own life. Do the things you love. Reconnect with family, friends, and hobbies that you may have missed before. By doing so, you not only heal yourself but also create a positive image of yourself in your ex's eyes. Distance is not always the end. In fact, letting them go gently can help them realize your value. When they no longer have you by their side to share with, to receive care from, they will start to think about what has passed. They will remember the happy moments, the good things you brought to their lives. But that only happens if you give them the space to feel it. Respecting your ex's decision is not only a way to make them comfortable, but also a way for you to show self-respect and pride. You are sending a strong message that you are a mature person, who knows how to love not only with emotions but also with reason. Your confidence and calmness in this situation will make them feel that you are someone worthy of respect, rather than someone who is caught up in emotions and clinging. It is important to accept that the outcome may not be as desired. They may not come back. But you need to understand that letting them go is necessary for both of you to have the opportunity to grow, whether together or separately. If they realize that you are truly important in their lives, they will come back with a different attitude, a more mature emotion. But if not, you are also ready to move on, stronger and more confident, because you have learned to love and respect yourself first. Spend time with family, friends, and personal hobbies that bring you joy. By doing so, you not only maintain balance, but also show them that you are independent and stable, something they are naturally attracted to. When they have gone through a certain period of time after the breakup, there will be times when they will try to contact you again. At this time, what you need to do is restrain the desire to talk about the relationship, the breakup, or any questions related to their private life, such as who they are dating. Such conversations are often unhelpful, and can even create more tension. Instead, take the time to reconnect in the most natural way, chat gently, laugh, and live fully in the present. Remember that you cannot change the past, and worrying about the future only makes you miss real opportunities that are happening right before your eyes. Most importantly, don't take your ex's behavior as a personal reflection. They withdraw not because they don't love you, but because they are struggling with how to deal with their own emotions. The avoidant trait in their attachment style makes them choose to walk away when they feel threatened by intimacy or pressure. If you react by respecting their space, rather than trying to pull them back, they are much more likely to return. It is important to consider whether this attachment style is something you are willing to accept in a long-term relationship. Maintaining a relationship with someone with an avoidant attachment style requires understanding and patience. But it also needs to ensure that you do not lose your own value and emotional security. By applying these strategies, you not only avoid the vicious cycle of them leaving and you chasing, but also create conditions for both of you to relax and build a deeper connection, if that's truly what both of you want. Next, I will talk about the anxious-avoidant attachment style, when love becomes emotional clinging. The anxious-avoidant attachment style is one of the most common and often challenging attachment styles in relationships. People with this attachment style often have a deep-seated fear of rejection or abandonment. They crave closeness and commitment from their partner. But that very anxiety can cause them to become overly clingy, leading to overreactions when the relationship encounters difficulties. This is not because they are weak or dependent, but because insecurity is deeply ingrained in how they experience love and connection. Anxious-avoidant individuals are often sensitive to any signs they perceive as indifference from their partner. An unanswered text message, a casual remark, or even silences in conversations can trigger their fear of abandonment. This causes them to react in different ways, such as sending a barrage of messages, seeking reassurance, or even blaming themselves for thinking they did something wrong. This anxious attachment style often stems from childhood experiences, where they may have felt they did not receive enough attention or love from their parents or caregivers. These experiences create a strong need within them, the need to be validated that they are worthy of love. However, this very need makes them prone to constant anxiety in relationships, especially if their partner does not meet the expectations or provide the reassurance they need. A key characteristic of anxious individuals is that they often place a lot of emotion and expectation on their partner. To them, their lover is not just a companion but also a source of comfort, an emotional support, and sometimes a savior for their own insecurities. But this can put pressure on the relationship, especially if the partner has an avoidant attachment style, as these two attachment styles often create a toxic loop. The anxious person tries to pull the partner closer, while the avoidant person withdraws further to find their own space, creating a continuous cycle of pursuit and avoidance. However, not all anxious people are trapped in this emotional whirlwind. By being aware of their attachment style, they can learn to adjust their behavior, set healthy boundaries, and reduce their dependence on others to feel secure. This requires them to work on themselves, finding self-confidence and self-worth from within rather than just from others. Understanding the anxious-avoidant attachment style not only helps them improve their relationships, but also helps their partner understand and empathize with them more. It is a journey of learning to balance between loving others and loving oneself, an important step in building healthy and lasting relationships. The third thing I'll talk about is the characteristic signs of the anxious-avoidant attachment style. People with an anxious-avoidant attachment style often have an internal conflict between two seemingly opposing needs, a desire for closeness but a fear of losing freedom or being hurt. This conflict causes them to exhibit characteristic signs in relationships that, if not understood, can easily be confusing or frustrating. One of the most prominent signs is their tendency to withdraw or avoid when faced with conflict or commitment. When a relationship becomes serious, or when there are minor disagreements, anxious-avoidant individuals often don't choose to confront the issue. Instead, they find ways to escape the situation, sometimes by being silent, changing the subject, or avoiding it altogether. This action is not because they don't care, but because they feel pressured or afraid of hurting themselves or their partner. In addition, they also tend to send mixed signals. On the one hand, they want connection and a sense of security in the relationship. But on the other hand, they are easily triggered by strong emotions, whether positive or negative, and that causes them to withdraw or create distance. They may give you warm moments, but then become distant without a clear explanation. Another notable thing is that anxious-avoidant people often react strongly to feelings of rejection or being ignored. But instead of trying to clarify the issue, they isolate themselves to reduce internal instability. When feeling hurt, they may avoid all interaction or express emotions indirectly, which makes the relationship unpredictable and tiring for both parties. The complexity of this attachment style is also evident in how they handle intimacy. Although they crave love and closeness, when they actually experience it, they may feel overwhelmed or unsure how to cope. This causes them to fall into a cycle of self-blame and distancing themselves from their partner, a cycle that is difficult to break without understanding. However, it is important to remember that these signs are not an expression of lack of care or love. In fact, anxious-avoidant people often have very strong emotions, but they lack the skills to manage those emotions. Sometimes, even when they seem distant, they are silently longing for connection, but they don't know how to express it or fear that that connection will make them unstable.